We've all seen it happen, right? A song, a book, a meme. One day it doesn't exist, and the next, it is absolutely everywhere. It feels like pure magic, just some random bolt of lightning. But what if I told you it's not? What if there's a secret playbook for this stuff, and once you learn the rules, you'll start seeing them everywhere you look? I mean, it's the question we've all asked ourselves. How does something go from total obscurity to a cultural phenomenon, seemingly overnight? It's easy to just write it off as a fluke, a lucky break. But what if it isn't luck at all? What if it's actually a really well-executed strategy? Well, this is that strategy. It's called the Attack the Periphery model, and it's kind of a masterclass in reverse psychology. The big idea? To go big, you have to start really, really small. You forget the masses. Your first mission is to win over a tiny, dedicated niche so completely that they become your personal army of evangelists. Think of it this way. You want to be a giant alligator in a tiny little puddle. In that small space, you are completely and utterly dominant. You're the only thing anyone can possibly pay attention to. And that's the goal. You establish absolute authority in a tiny niche first. And then, from that base of power, you start to expand your territory. So how do you actually do that? How do you become that alligator? How do you forge that kind of intense, passionate loyalty? Well, it turns out there are three, let's call them recipes, for turning casual observers into a passionate army of fans. So the first recipe is all about creating this deep sense of personal connection. It's about making something with such a specific, almost polarizing voice that a certain group of people feel like it was made just for them. It's that story that just looks you right in the eye and says, hey, I see you. The absolute classic case study for this is The Catcher in the Rye. Holden Caulfield's cynical, rebellious voice, it was a lightning rod. Parents hated it, teachers hated it, and that was the secret to its success. For its young fans, adult approval would have been the kiss of death. The outrage was actually proof that the book was the real deal. And this creates this incredibly powerful us versus them dynamic. When fans defended the book against all the critics, they weren't just protecting a story. They were defending a piece of their own identity. It built this fiercely loyal in-group, all united against a world that just didn't get it. Okay, now the second recipe takes a totally different path. It's not about making your audience feel understood. It's about making them work for it. This strategy turns reading from a passive thing into an active, collaborative quest. There's even a fancy academic term for this: ergodic literature. Basically, stories that demand real effort from you. A perfect example of this is the novel House of Leaves. This book is a labyrinth. It's got bizarre formatting, footnotes inside of footnotes, hidden codes. It's deliberately designed to be almost impossible to figure out on your own. And this move is genius because it forces readers to go online, into forums, to pull their knowledge and solve the puzzle together. That shared struggle becomes the social glue that creates the fandom, giving them this powerful sense of intellectual ownership. Our final recipe, this one shifts gears from fiction to the world of practical advice. And it's built on a foundation of just pure, undeniable usefulness. This is about creating a tool, a blueprint so effective that it becomes an indispensable part of your audience's life. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. When a book like, say, The 4-Hour Workweek gives you real, life-altering results, recommending it becomes way more than just sharing a good read. It actually becomes an act of social currency. By sharing the solution with your friends, you're boosting your own reputation. You look smart, you look resourceful, you look helpful. The recommendation itself is a valuable asset. Now, these strategies, they've been around for decades. But the internet, like it does with everything, basically put them on steroids. Digital platforms have become these massive accelerators for this entire playbook. Just take a look at fan fiction platforms. They've become the secret weapon for aspiring authors. Think about it. By writing in a world that already exists, they get to skip all the heavy lifting of world building and just focus on mastering what really matters: emotional arcs and character dynamics. It's a brilliant way to de-risk your work, letting you practice your craft with a built-in passionate audience before you ever see a publisher. And the scale here is just staggering. A platform like Wattpad has over 90 million users. That is not a tiny puddle. That's an entire ocean of potential fans ready to go, providing this instant engine of social proof when a story finally goes mainstream. But in the modern publishing world, one single platform reigns supreme as the ultimate kingmaker: Book Talk. This little corner of TikTok has the power to turn unknown authors into global bestsellers overnight. But there's a catch. To succeed on Book Talk, a book needs a very specific and very potent ingredient. And that secret ingredient is what we can call emotional density. For a book to blow up on Book Talk, it has to be engineered for performance. It needs to be packed with scenes so shocking they make you gasp on camera, or so heartbreaking they make you sob for your followers. The reaction isn't just a byproduct of the content, the reaction is the content. A perfect example is the fantasy novel Fourth Wing. Its explosion wasn't driven by some huge marketing budget. No way. It was driven by unpaid fans making thousands of videos about its enemies to lovers energy and spicy scenes. This is word of mouth in its purest, most powerful, modern form. So what's the big takeaway from all this? From the banned books of the 1950s all the way to the viral sensations of TikTok, the fundamental pattern holds true. The secret to reaching the many is to start by being absolutely everything to the few. This is the core of the whole playbook, right here. If you write with a polarizing voice, fans will defend it to defend themselves. If you create a complex puzzle, the shared struggle to solve it forges an unbreakable bond. And if you provide undeniable utility, fans will share your work to boost their own social standing. Each strategy bakes the marketing right into the product itself. So you see, the journey from a cult following to a global phenomenon is almost never an accident. It's a deliberate strategy. It's about creating something so resonant for a small, passionate group that they have no choice but to become your champions and carry your message to the rest of the world. So, now that you have the code, what would you make go viral?